joining us. After you have been also on the panel, trying to ask you a few questions about the conference. What would you like to point out are the most important topics that you've heard today and yesterday on this conference?
Well, I think one of the most important point is the fact that stable coins are really getting in the hands of the people in Europe and are becoming the new way that people interact with money. So it's something that came from the United States with the famous USDC and USDT. And now I think it's very important because now in the European Union, people are starting using really the stable coins. And the stable coins, that's the first part. And the second part is that the European community is going in few years to get the digital euro. But right now, I think it's we're like getting prepared with the stable coins. So the stable coins is going to prepare the people and start train people to get also the digital euro.
Okay, that's interesting. And would you share some interesting points that you would especially pick for all the segments that you heard?
Well, I think the general idea of this conference and was really very different from other crypto conferences that in this conference was that now institutions and different people from the crypto space are actually joined. So this is like probably one of the first time that I see all these institutions, financial institutions, governments, regions, to start talking about blockchain. Personally, my journey was like 7 years working with the project with blockchain and was really complex to try to convince people about the blockchain, the technology. Why? Because we, of course, they all thought about, the older crypto and Bitcoin, whatever. Now, I think this is the first time, this is a major 2025, it's really a major changing point because now we're seeing institutions not only talking about it, but really starting to implement, and it's an absolutely change in history.
If we get a little bit further than that, maybe we look a bit at the future, the next year. What do you expect from this conference to change? You said the institutions, classic institutions are thinking about it. What do you think we are up to see the Euro coin next year? Will they be up for the tasks? Will they be on time? What kind of change would you expect us to happen?
I think that the institutional and, let's say, country or central banks coins, there will be, of course, I think they're going to be late. So it's going to talk about like 2029, probably 2030, if we're like lucky. In the meantime, we have two things. One is the MiCAR stable coins that I talked just before. And the second one, this is going to be a big game changer, is something that few people understood, but was like talk a little bit in this conference, which are the security tokens, which is the fact that the MiFID regulation, so not the MiCAR, but the MiFID regulation, okay, which is the other part of the crypto world, which basically talks about security. So we're talking about shares, bonds, shares of funds and mini bonds are basically going to happen. And in the next 2-3 years, you're going to see a surge into security tokens. So not only crypto and stable coins or NFT, but we're going to see a lot of companies going not to the normal stock exchange, but they're going to issue their own token on their own registry. And it's going to be done legally using basically taking advantage of this new regulation, which is called DLT pilot, that allows any company in Europe to issue a digital shares. And this is game changing.
What do you see your role, your business role in this part?
Well, it's like a long time in the making. With my company, Commercial Network, we work for 7 years for creating the infrastructure and the compliance infrastructure. Why? Because unfortunately, you cannot do security token in the same way you used to do crypto. You needed to have KYC, anti-money laundering directive fully implemented, but that is only one part. You need to really have all the, let's say, provisions of MiFID. So it's going to completely need to basically use these and have like applications and protocols that are compliant, but that's about it. We work 7 years for doing that and for able, so in the next few years we're going to basically be able to provide through our network and from Theo and RIV, all these companies that are compliant by default, and we're going to be able to let's say, let companies to issue stablecoins and use stablecoins, issue stablecoins and use and issue security tokens.
Okay. And the last question, what would be your key message to all the audience that are listening now and before? What they have to be careful about in the next year?
Okay, so the crypto world has always been synonymous of, unfortunately, scams, because there is one thing that is always true. When it's too good to be true, it's never true. So whenever they always promise, somebody tells you you're going to make this amount of money, you're going to get rich, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. You're going to become poorer than you are. So always listen to and try to study and try to do your own research on any project and understand that all the crypto world now has a let's say, needs, every like company needs to be registered with MiCA. So you cannot buy any kind of cryptocurrency from somebody which is not in your country registry. So that's most important. Whenever you're sending any money to somebody, please do research and search into the MiCA compliant registry for your country, wherever you are in the Balkans, everywhere. Always, each country has its own registry. Please do not send any money unless the company is registered in one of the European registration and are authorized.
That's a great advice, and I hope everybody will follow it. That's about it from our part. Thank you for.
Thank you very much.